joining us in this presentation. Let me start by saying that if you're here because you are wondering how we are going to deal with Android and Civilization 2, this is not the place, this is not the presentation, this is CI version 2, meaning that this is the second iteration of our way of doing CI loops. There has been a lot of changes on how we have been doing CI loops within Linaro, and we have been going from daily builds, which was the basic requirements a couple years ago, to now even change-based, commit-based builds. We're going to explore how that happened, the way it is architecture, and what we plan to do in the near future. There are many reasons on why we want to do that. First of all is consolidation. We currently have 2 Jenkins servers. You may be aware of the Android build server, Jenkins server, because probably you have your builds right there. It is building your art builds, your LCR builds, or your personal build. It is there. And there is another one, which is ci.linaro.org. This ci.linaro.org is a newer way of doing things because it is based, we will explain a little bit more on how it's sort of better. And we are currently migrating everything from Android build to ci.linaro.org. Having 1 server instead of 2 will ease in the consolidation because we have a different set of slaves, a different overall experience between those 2 servers. As for consistency, again, the way things are configured on these servers is way different. On one of them, on Android build, you have to click here if you want to add something, you want to configure one of these plugins, or maybe you want to change just add a new test or configure the way you're running your script. In ci.linaro.org instead, what we are using is a YAML file. This YAML file is then read by Jenkins Job Builder, which will auto-configure Jenkins and will let the magic happen. We will see how. With this consistency, it comes ease of maintenance, because instead of doing a click here, a click there, and then another click over there to change something, you just go to a file, modify something that you want to change. For instance, for how long you want to have your builds stored. Instead of 90 days, you want to change it to 60 days, which is something that actually happened 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago. All builds changed. The retention policy went from 90 days to 60 days because, well, we have limited storage. It was just 1 commit for a lot of builds, instead of clicking here, changing that, clicking there, changing that, and so on and so forth. So this will ease maintenance a lot. Now on the migration from Android build to ci.linaro.org, on this server, Android build, there were more than 500 builds configured. Many of them, however, have been dormant for quite a good time now. Only 43 of those jobs were active, and mostly those were for LCR and art. So this concerns you guys a lot, and we will see how this will impact you in the very near future. This is the initial architecture due to the initial requirements that the team had. Basically, it was a Jenkins server running for daily builds or on-demand builds. Whenever you wanted to do something, you will go to the front end, will specify a small configuration where you will say what version of Android you wanted, what patch sets you wanted to have on your build, maybe a local manifest and stuff like that. And then you will, on the front end, click build or have it built every day. As a matter of fact, I think we can show you how the front end looks. This is the front end for a test build of mine. The configuration is rather short and simple. It's right here, just 4 lines. This tells where to get the manifest from, what branch of the manifest, launch, that's the target and product, and the source overlay. Now the source overlay is a requirement because things that will be packaged, will be built, will be tarballed, and then published on the snapshot server. And we need to specify what kind of licensing there is in that tarball. So as a bare minimum requirement, you will specify build info tar, which I think is the open, public stuff. So that's the minimum. Then you have here the pinned manifest, the source manifest. You can take a look at the logs. If you want this build to be built daily, you just click here, and there it is. It will be built daily now. So this was very practical thing. It was very functional, but there was a limitation in the sense that whenever you wanted to do something more elaborate than just building Android, and then you will have to go to the Jenkins server, to the configuration, and then do that actual change yourself, and then you won't be able to use Frontend again, because then all things will be reset. So, as I was saying, from Android build, you go to the snapshot server, and then from the snapshots to validation, which will have your build tested. But then a new requirement came in, which was to have get read triggers. With the get read triggers, you will have daily builds, on-demand builds, and get read-based triggers, get read-based builds. Whenever there was a change, you submitted a patch set, you wanted to have it tested, then it will also trigger a new build. For this, instead of using the front end to specify the configuration, the manifest, your local manifest, and some other tweaks there, then that configuration was moved to a Git repository, which is Android build configs. A few of you are very well acquainted with that. And things were actually progressing well. But with ci.linaro.org, the main difference is that instead of front end, we can do all of what we wanted to do with the front end, and by clicking here and there and over there again, through Jenkins Job Builder. Jenkins Job Builder is fed by a YAML file, so it's very readable. You can very easily make changes to it, and it's Git driven. So whenever you make a change there, I think there's a cron job that runs every 5 minutes or something like that. So it will automatically configure Jenkins to the new configuration. And there you go. Things are way better and easier to do. Now, the thing is, you have to commit your configuration, your Android build configuration first, and then your CI job configuration. And of course, that means 2 layers of review. Maybe for the better. Now, an Android build configuration must have at the bare minimum 4 variables there: manifest repo, manifest branch, launch, and source overlay. I think we saw that in the front end, but typically it will have a lot of other variables which will tell Jenkins how to build, will tell the scripts how to build your Android build. We'll make it. Like the local manifest, the patch sets, and let's see. Here's a very minimum configuration for Nexus 7 to build Android 6.01 R16. Again, this is the same configuration that we saw on the front end, so no surprise there. But this one is stored on Android build config, if I recall correctly. This is an actual configuration file. This, as you can see, is much more elaborate. Has more than 4 pages here. Manifest repo, branch, groups, builds, build file system image, patch sets, local manifest. In bold, you can see the variables that are required. The others, well, we'll just tweak the way the build is done. Target product, submit, use Java 7, stuff like that. And as the Lava job URL as well, there are more than 20, if I recall correctly. You can specify all of that in this configuration file. And this is specifically for Juno, Marshmallow, LCR reference. Now, we might want to go through an example of how things are done with CI job configuration. I forgot to mention that if you have any question whatsoever, do interrupt me. There will be candy for anyone that makes a question. So let's see. This is the same build, Android LCR reference Juno, but this is the YAML file. It's easy to read. We have the where we're going to run it. It's a Docker image. Gerrit-driven. So whenever there's a change in these projects, Android patch sets, platform manifest, device Linaro common, and so on, then a new build will be triggered, timeout, and the script that is run, which will install, will set up the host by installing a couple of packages there. And the last version of Python Linaro image tools, configure Git, ensure we have the correct version of Java, get some helper scripts, helper packages. Actually build Android. All of that was in preparation for this step, which will build Android. Then have the binaries published. And here we construct some the parameters for post-build Lava, which is just a simple file with properties. And currently we are only submitting one Lava job because it is in testing phase. We are hoping to enable the rest of them soon, I suppose, for the LCR jobs on ci.linaro.org. They are still running. They are actually running on Android build and on ci.linaro.org, but we are hoping to disable the ones on Android build and leave only the ones from ci.linaro.org. But for that, we are only running one Lava job here. And with this defined, we then call another project in Jenkins, which is post-build Lava, which reads the post-build Lava parameters. This is the current way of calling Lava for testing in ci.linaro.org. It's a very simple file. If you want to change something, it's public. You can create a patch and submit it for review, and then it will be merged at some point. So it's all in the open.
Question here.
Sure.
So it will affect the integration to ART reports.
Come again?
It will affect the integration to ART reports. It will break it up, basically. When are you going to migrate fully to this setup?
Yeah, I'm starting with LCR for now. While we are doing ART reports, I've still not thought of it, but mostly we will have the Lava job submitted from the same job and not use post-build Lava, just to be sure the way ART reports are integrated.
Yeah, well, it can be supported, I just need to know. So we can add both, support for both of those. It's not a problem, it's just like it has to be done.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for now, at least for this month, I'm looking at LCR stuff. ART reports or something ART specific jobs or something we'll be doing after the migration of the LCR jobs. We are currently ready with LCR jobs only.
Okay.
How would this tie into tying the scripts locally? So what we discussed about getting the Jenkins scripts, so setting up the tree and then running the job. How would this tie into that?
Sorry,
how would this tie into what we discussed about?
Yes, if you, I mean, can you open the YAML? What? The YAML file. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the one that he showed was quite different with respect to what we have. Yeah, I mean, this is the prototype that he's done. This is the YAML for ART Vixel test. We'll have something similar where we'll run the Jenkins stuff first and then download code and then the execution of the Vixel test.
Yeah, as you can see, it's pretty much the same that we have on Android build. It's the same lines, the same script, only in text, plain text. Much cleaner and much easier to handle as well. If you want to make any change. Anyone can do it in the open, so just propose a patch and it can be reviewed and merged. Yeah, for a new build, Vishal is going to tell us how to do that.
For creating a new build, the thing is that we'll have to first create an Android build config template file defining the parameters on a manifest repo, manifest branch, local manifest repo, local manifest branch, and then commit it to the Android build configs. That template, as described by Daniel, will have all the parameters on what target to be built and which version of the code to be built. Once we have committed to Android build configs, the next step is to create a new YAML file, which is basically it's analogous to creating a new job in Jenkins. The good thing is that we can reuse the config templates that we already have. If you want to do a new reference LCR job, you can directly copy the reference LCR Juno M config file and then edit it to use this new Android build configs. And once you submit this new config file for review, members from the builds and baseline team will review the job YAML file, and once we approve that, within next 5 minutes you should see a new Jenkins job set up already in the ci.linaro.org Jenkins instance. I mean, this is for people who want to do builds for their own testing kind of things. If they want to have an experimental build setup, that's why this is being described here.
In the near future, we want to have multiple job submission to Lava, because currently what we have to do is define these post-build Lava parameters and then call this project post-build Lava. And if we want to test something else, then we have to define again those parameters and call post-build Lava, and so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, there is one job that currently does that, and it's, in my opinion, not the best of the world. Here. Now, this one here that we have for Juno, as you can see, as complicated as it is 180 lines. This is the 96 board reference platform AOSP high key. And here we are building just the same, and then triggering post-build Lava, and then defining the parameters and calling post-build Lava, and then defining the parameters and calling post-build Lava, and again and again and again and again for 980 lines. So that is one thing that we would like to improve in the future, in the near term, which is multiple job submission to Lava, and as well as aligned with post-build Lava, which uses custom JSON URL instead of Lava job URL. That is one thing. And also, as you saw here, we already have I already have here the tip jobs of art for review. There's so much more pending still. We have to rework how we will submit stuff to Lava, and also we have to migrate the build machines. Yes, because those are on Android build. So there are a couple of more things still pending, but it's happening. We hope that by the end of this month we will have all jobs up for review, and then hopefully we will complete the migration rather soon. Questions and comments? Again, there's Candy.
So I guess we will need to also modify the templates for Android jobs. So post-build Lava uses different template engine for than we're using. Or are you guys replacing that on the fly somehow?
I mean, we've updated the Postman Lava jobs to actually use the existing templates itself. For high key jobs, you can see on reference LCR, which is on crlinaro.org, uses the same templates that are being used on high key member LCR builds, which is on Android build.
Do you want to align those templates somehow and migrate them to the CI job configs?
Sorry, I didn't understand your question there.
The templates for all the other jobs that that CI job configs do are kept in CI job configs. So
Okay, you're talking about, since we have two different repositories.
Yes, exactly. So aligning those and migrating the templates to one repository.
If that's going to help you in maintenance, we can agree on that and do it that way.
I don't know.
At least, I mean.
Do you have any comment?
In my mind, we make every jobs and template into a CI job configs repository. So everything is in one place, everybody find it easily. So yeah, I think we need to merge the repositories. Now I don't know the difference between the template. I don't know if if the template makes sense to merge them, well, to make it closer, maybe we'll do it. For now, it's not important. I think it's more important to have one single repository where everything is deployed from there. So we have the jobs, all the jobs, and you have the template, so it's easy for QA to modify them as needed, and so on.
Okay.
So I should probably add this work to my backlog, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more questions or any new features that you guys wish to see in our CI setup in general?
I guess that's something that Arthur did already, to modify the build scripts to provide the metadata of the build.
Yeah. I mean, that work anyways has come from Chase.
From Arthur.
Sorry?
From Arthur. Arthur, not Chase.
Yeah, sorry, Arthur. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but will it also make it to the next version of the scripts?
Yes, it will, because the underlying built Android script will be using the same stuff.
Okay, that's good.
So for example, if the R team would like to make slight modifications to the Vixel test, could we experiment with that easily? I mean, could we just clone the YAML file that Daniel pushed and then have few modifications of that, and could do this on our own without asking you guys for help?
Yes, you guys can clone, and basically the good thing with these YAMLs are it's more human readable than looking at the Jenkins job config. You can clone and submit it for review. The thing is, the merge right for that job is only with the builds and baseline team for now.
Thanks.
Any more questions there? Yes, there's candy for that. Well, in that case, thank you all. We will be here all week.
What's left of the week? What's left of the week?
Yes.